Hey all, it's CNG here. Bit of a different video today. Uh, Agma Shwa has yesterday announced the next Conlang Circus. And we figured not definitely going to enter, but I was at least going to post some potentially interesting ideas. So I figured we'd go through the video on video, take some notes and start brainstorming potential ideas as well whilst we're going through the video. Yeah, we will link the original video in the description, obviously. And yeah, this is not the entry video by any. This is not an entry to the Conlang Circus on its own. This is just us coming up, starting to brainstorm ideas and the like. Anyway, start the video.
Cursed Conlang Circus! Hey everybody, welcome to GA. So for months now, pretty much since the day after the release of 26 hours worth of the second Cursed Conlang Circus, people have been asking me pretty much non-stop when I would announce the next Cursed Conlang Circus. Well, after a lot of research, a Google form, and a surprisingly focused live stream with my patrons and Discord mods,
it was a very long live stream.
minimize our suffering as much as possible while still inspiring maximum creativity. So
yeah, if you haven't seen last year's judging segments, it was 8. No, it was a lot more than 8 hours. It was a stupid number of hours of live stream that, took. I mean, there were a lot of entries, and all of them were judged purely by the judges with nothing else going on. It was a lot, actually. I'm amazed it got done at all, given the sheer amount of work that went into it. I'm amazed no one is happening. Although, yes.
Today I am officially announcing the third Cursed Conlang Circus, CCC 3, if you will. Things are going to be operating differently this time, so pay close attention before you get to putting together your video. Now, last year, Eternal and I, and occasionally a couple other Big Lang members, spent literal months going through every submission.
See, this
than I had ever expected. Thus, the 3
absolutely wild.
Longer than an entire actual day. That was
there you go.
That literally destroyed it, by the way. I'm not doing it.
So yes, not healthy last time. Very much not a good spot.
Because a lot has happened in the past couple months. Yeah, I proposed, got married, got cats.
How dare! YouTuber has a life. Disgraceful.
They're here, they're meowing at each other, they're staring at each other, and then looking back at me with
YouTubers should not have lives. This is disgraceful.
Get used to it, little buds. Anyway, I'm not doing it the way that the previous Cursed Conlang Circuses were done. Not ever again. Eternal and I suffered for a long, long time, and we cannot handle that. So that's what that Google form in the live stream were all about.
Yeah.
Deciding how to make this a more streamlined process for what will most likely be even more submissions than last time. Here are the basics for what you need to know.
Cool.
Let's once again get a good personal definition of cursed.
Okay, yeah.
For a
so
process to be cursed, in my opinion,
cursed
it must be disturbing, painful, or uncanny in a way that becomes funny by the way it makes us just like shudder. Often in a very nerdy way in our case. High effort.
Yeah. Okay. So it's disturbing. This is the useful things that we need to remember whilst we're working on this, right? So it's got to be disturbing or painful, uncanny. Okay. Be high effort. That doesn't feel like it needs more explanation, but
as in, while it's horrible,
yes.
It is at the same time amazing for the efforts taken to bring an idea to fruition. And it is clever, meaning it's not necessarily a kitchen sink conglomeration of every idea possible, but rather an expertly
clever. Yeah, okay.
Of only a few select
we probably don't know enough to do that well, but we could try.
List of grammatical cases from Wikipedia. While it's disturbing. It's not. It's oh god, why'd you do that? It's not like particularly interesting.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense.
With just like such confusion and disgust. There will again be 2 optional themes that you can follow.
Okay. Optional themes.
For truly utilizing both themes at the same time. Now last year the themes were a posteriori and rock, right?
Yes.
Lots of people were disqualified from that rock category because they just casually mentioned a rock somehow.
Yeah.
Actually incorporating rocks into the fundamentals of the language. This year it's going to be a little bit harder to cheat the optional themes. And there are also more difficult themes in my opinion. The first optional theme is a story. Make your presentation of the language in the format of a story with a concrete beginning, middle, end, central conflict, etc.
Okay. So, tell a story. So, where's the presentation? That's one potential option.
Placed from the perspective of a main character. It could be a fable, a parody, anything else you can think of, as long as it's obviously a story. You can also take this more literally and make your language communicated fundamentally by telling stories or using storytelling conventions.
Okay.
Will count. Hopefully
Communicating or language uses stories as tool building block. Okay, so those are the two ways of doing that.
To be obvious to the judges what you're doing either way, right? Second optional theme is proto-language. So
okay.
Language, or perhaps several, not necessarily related languages, and create your own reconstruction of an ancestral form.
Yeah.
You can take two or more languages that aren't related at all and try it to use whatever cursed bullshit logic you'd like to create their true progenitor, like say like Telugu and Korean, or Auto-June and Ultra French, right? Any reconstruction of any languages you like, whether they're natural or a combination of both. And of course, there will be a special honorable mention for the high-scoring submission that fulfills the requirements for both optional themes at the same time. And the sample text. This year, I'm actually giving people two options for their text translation.
Okay, and translation text.
About three things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that.
Okay, right. The translation text. These are going to be important to have down. So, I can't easily grab text from a YouTube video. Cool. Of course, right. So, option 1 is... yeah. I mean, yeah. That's it. Yeah. Good to see a move away from the B script to another piece of questionable media in Twilight. Another weird romance story, just differently weird this time. Okay. Oh, that's a false sign. Oh.
That part might be that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
Okay, it was... Nope. Full stop and quote. Okay. We'll probably stick to that one. But, I don't know. We'll see what the other one is.
If you're on the Discord server, a funny little joke.
Yeah, okay, so we're not on the Discord server, so probably not this one. So...
Agma Shwa and his son Tian practices against the lesser side of the invisible origin of light, set by cosmetic prohibitions of silence and restraint. For Nu, a slave to creativity, shall make inspection and certification prior to confirmation of Naiva Gun's official status. Deny thine humanity. There are no politics in real life. Judging will be handled differently this time, as in, there's democracy for the first round.
Okay.
I'll talk about how voting will work in a moment. The judges will then use a system similar to that of previous years, tweaked a bit to be more fair, and centered around the following three criteria. 1. Communication ideas. Which aspects of language are you using, and how clearly are those exploits represented? 2. Cursedness of concepts.
Judging on... Oh. What was the first judging thing? Okay, communication. Ideas. Okay, communication of ideas. Brilliant. That's good to know. Makes sense. Okay. Yep. Cool. And the presentation. That makes sense.
the way we do the judging specifically when the time comes for the finalist round, but definitely make your submissions with the intentions of following those criteria. Now,
Yes. Okay.
vital information about submissions and how judging is going to work this time. We will be splitting the circus into 2 rounds. A first round where all proper submissions will be put into a playlist into a random order Google form. The people, all of you, will get to watch as many submissions as you want or can mentally handle and select which ones you believe should move on to a finalist round.
That makes sense.
After the submission period has ended. There will also be another video with more information about that later.
Okay.
That's a reminder for me to do that. Remember, and the finalist round will be the big video that goes up on my channel, consisting of the top 30 submissions based on audience voting with our commentary and the awards at the end.
Okay.
Eternal, previous circus winners, select non-participant patrons, Discord mods, and any
That makes a lot of sense.
on their availability will judge these top 30 in order to announce the winners.
Okay.
Overall
Yeah.
score based on those criteria and the highest scores for each of the optional themes. So once the submission deadline has passed, look out on my YouTube shorts, Discord announcements, community page, etc. for the voting link for the first round of voting.
Yeah.
You may be thinking, oh God, I don't want to suffer through hundreds of hours of content the way you did, Mr. Glorious Ringleader. Well, that gets us to something very important. There are a number of notable changes to how submissions will work this time.
Okay.
Most of this information can be found in the submission form. Sorry about that. First of all, from now on, if you want a submission to be accepted, you must use the official submission form, linked in the description below. And it must be a public or unlisted YouTube video. So sorry to people who submitted via Scratch or archive.org last year, but from now on, a submission has to be a viewable YouTube video with a functioning link that can go in a Google.
Private.
Also, it must be 10 minutes or less in explanation.
Okay.
Now, this one may grind some gears, as several of the best submissions, in fact, like all of the best submissions in previous years, have been very long videos, definitely longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
now,
okay.
Feel free to make a video as long as you want in general. You can make an hour-long video explaining your language if you really want to. It'll be the algorithm, and there will definitely be like a bunch of details that you'd probably like to explain into the minutia. Right?
Yes.
But for the official submission, the one that's going to be linked on that Google form, you need to have a video where the language is explained in 10 minutes or less. Now, the translation...
That makes sense. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But in that case, you need to use chapters in the video description to clearly indicate what part is the explanation and what part is the translation. Right? It's really freaking simple to make chapters on your YouTube videos. All you do is when you're uploading, you know how there's like you got the title of the video and then you got the description of the video. All you got to do is write down the time code. You can say 0:00 for the start of the video and just say explanation, and then wherever the explanation ends and the translation begins, you just put in whatever time mark that is. If it's like 10 minutes or if it's like 9 minutes and 59 seconds, then you just put in 09:59.
Brilliant.
Translation text. Boom. And then you publish the video like normal. Don't have to do any other steps.
Okay, excellent. Good to know.
You can have your half-hour version of the
Cool.
video available to the public and linked in the description of your or you could call it a part 2 or something. If you want to start a YouTube, this will be a great way to get started, by the way. If you had a few videos for people to look at instead of just one, you'll be well on your way to algorithm success, right? This video also needs to be acceptable in quality. I'm not saying at all that you need to learn how to be a pro video editor. Right? Number 1, no offensive content. Even if I catch
should be trying to avoid that anyway.
2, the narration audio has to at least be acceptable. Right? If we're being bombarded,
That makes sense.
If the sound is only in one ear for some reason, or if the music is so
We should be alright on that. I would like to think.
expect the world to sit through it. If you don't have a microphone and you have to just use your earbuds to record or something, that's okay. Just make sure you're not like rubbing on the microphone or letting it hit your clothes constantly.
Yeah, well.
Like a brutal 1,000 decibel slam, you know, popping everyone's eardrums for the nearest mile.
The temptation to just click there.
And I know lots of us speak several languages.
Yeah.
But considering I speak English in all of my videos, and the vast majority of my audience watches me because they can, you know, at least to a certain extent, understand what I'm saying, you can't expect every voter in the audience to speak another language, and you can't expect us to have the free time to put subtitles up.
Yes, that's very fair.
Sense, though, if you want to demonstrate, like, say, your broad Scottish accent,
Oh, okay.
yourself out. Also,
So-
don't ramble or leave long gaps in between your speaking parts.
Yep.
Half of your videos have long pauses and deep breaths between lines. We might not accept it. If you have no time or desire to edit spaces out of your videos, there is an AI video editor now. It's called Wisecut, and that'll like cut out any spaces for you. It's not, you know, it's very just like any moment of silence is just vanished, even if it's like a
That shouldn't be.
level of silence. Not a great thing, but that'll be better than getting excluded from.
I mean, we'll just make the video as a video. It's fine.
clips or anything.
We're not gonna leave huge silences.
Are legible. There were definitely some cursed presentations, but it goes from being cursed to being useless once you've purposefully blurred the text on screen, or you're just making it so that the visuals no longer contain linguistic or semantic information from being too crowded or something, right? If your whole presentation is just visually gone, you may be disqualified.
That makes a lot of sense.
That your video is a cursed Conlang Circus submission. We're going to ask for a couple things so you can tag
Okay.
such.
Yeah.
I want you to either include CCC3 or Cursed Conlang Circus 3 in the video's title, depending on how much space you have in the title. If it's a long title, just CCC3, right? And then put hashtag CCC3 in the description of the video. This will create a hashtag database where all circus-related videos will automatically go. It'll improve the algorithm performance for everybody involved, even if only a little bit, and it'll allow people specifically looking for more submissions to watch to just have a list of submissions right there, even if the algorithm isn't recommending other videos. And then in the video description, I would like you to include a short summary of what your language is about. It doesn't need to be complete or anything, or it doesn't need to give away the punchline. I'm not asking you to literally explain the joke. Just like a sentence or two that is identifiable with what the language is will be good enough. And finally, how to submit. Actually, it might not be finally. The next bullet point on the teleprompter is how to submit. I have a Google form.
Oh, imagine having a teleprompter.
The valid way.
That would be smart.
A part of the circus. When your submission video is complete and posted, click the link to the Google form.
I don't know how we.
Right. Input the title of your language, your preferred name, whatever you want to be called when we're reading out the submission, and then you will get a copy of the form by email, or you can double check that you input everything correctly.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
That's probably important too. Additionally, until the end of the submission period, you will be able to edit your submission if you end up wanting to change something. You cannot make more than one submission though. With all that out of the way, this video is being released on. Is it? This video is hopefully being released on either Friday, June 7th or Saturday, June 8th. The official deadline for submissions will be Sunday, September 15th.
Okay.
I guess at like midnight Arizona time. I know a few people.
Deadline is.
The voting will begin. And finally, information for the people who are not submitting, the voters. There's nothing you need to do right now, and there won't be until the submission deadline is passed. Sometime pretty quickly after September 15th, I will post a video and a short and multiple community posts and a Discord announcement and all that to instruct all of you to start choosing your favorites. You'll be informed about how the voting will work when that happens.
Cool.
You'll be able to choose your top 5-ish submissions from the big list of all submissions. Maybe more than top 5, depending on how many total submissions we get. Just make sure that you're signed into a Google account while you fill it out.
That makes sense.
Voting deadline yet, but it will likely be approximately 1 month after the submission deadline. So let's say mid-October. Of course, there will be lots of submissions, which
Oh, I'm sure.
before the voting opens. This accidentally helps level the playing field against the videos that get huge amounts of views, right? So that's cool, I guess. It also means that to save time, if you're voting and you come across a submission you've already seen, you don't have to watch the whole thing again, and you can just make your vote, right? Though you'll probably want to because it's some juicy cursed content, right? So that's it. I've given you pretty much everything you need to know. If I forgot something, just ask and I'll tell you. If I missed something drastic, then I will tell the world.
Okay, brilliant.
So I am very excited for this. This has been a wild several months.
Okay, excellent. Right. So that's what we need to know there. And going to quickly grab. Oh, that's. Okay, give us a moment. We should have sorted out separate window captures. Oh well. Okay. Right. So that tells us what we need to know then on the video. So grab open the notes we've taken. So, okay. As we can see, the themes we're looking to hit are storytelling and telling story and it being a proto language. So, okay, I think maybe, creation this narrative, creation mission narrative, of the proto language. Okay, so that hits our theming. The question then is, how do we make that cursed? But I think that will hit the themes. Okay, so theming. Okay, so creation myth narrative of this proto language. Okay, so cursedness. How do we hit the cursedness? That's an interesting question. What do we do to make this cursed? Maybe, given its creation myth. No, that's a bad idea. It's wildly inaccessible. Okay, yeah. Flashing lights is a bad idea. Oh god, could use... That's a horrific idea. And is kind of hilariously bad. Okay. So... use for letters. Instead. So, yeah, use colours for, not letters. That's the wrong word. Nope. The word I want is minimal information part. Minimal information packets. Yes, so a certain hue or colour will be like the smallest amount of information you get out of something, right, in a language. Because obviously yeah. So that's like your minimal information package. There is a word for that. I cannot remember what it is. We never studied linguistics properly. All our knowledge of linguistics comes from watching people do conlanging on YouTube. So, you know, we are going into this very unprepared in many ways, but whatever. Okay, so that's for writing. That will be a complete nightmare, but is... Yeah, I don't know, I like that. It gives you a lot of option, because... Oh, and it also allows you to be horribly complicated with it in some very interesting ways. Like, if you use, like, an RGB base, so RGB base, so, like, if we say blue is your key, so letter, and then you can use red for accenting. Oh, red for tone, and then you can use red for tone, and green for... Oh, you could do something really, really complicated and use your green channel for your tense. So each informational packet can have its own separate tense. Or gender. Fudge it. No. Okay, green for gender. Let's go. Every informational packet can have its own gender from every one of for your entire standard RGB range of 255. So you've got... Oh no, it's 0 through 255. Okay, great. So you've got 256 grammatical genders. Let's go. And it's entirely on the green channel, which is going to be so easy to tell apart between a green and 5 and 6. Definitely. Yep, you're definitely going to be able to tell that apart. This is not going to cause any problems whatsoever, and is going to be equally readable on every single screen, no matter what, and printable, definitely. This is fine. Okay, and in terms of... Okay. We don't have a good enough singing voice to do that properly. Okay, no, we can do the vocals that way. It's a silly idea. Okay, okay, then we can't use yes, okay. Okay, yeah, 3 separate pitched. Yeah, so if we have 3 separate pitched vocals, each, yeah, for each hue, that's going to be a complete nightmare. That will be a complete pain to set up as well in terms of the vocal translation, because, well, A, we can't sing, and B, yeah, we don't have very good audio editing stuff, so that's going to be a pain. But fun, it's a fun idea. and we've got some time. So I think that's what we're going to do. I don't know. I was expected to try and come up with a couple of other ideas, but I quite like this one. And the video's already 25 minutes long at this point. I forget how long it takes to actually watch someone else's video and then do stuff afterwards and pause to comment on stuff. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to stop the recording, save the document, get this uploaded. Yeah. Hopefully you all enjoyed. This system signing out. Hope to catch you all next week. Please do remember to like, subscribe, comment, especially if you've got any questions you want answered. Be happy to answer them either in the comments or in another video. So catch you all next week.